Welcome in to the Arkansas Sports Network's Hometown Sports Football Preview, proudly presented by Arkansas Tech University, D3 Auto Sales, and by Metcalf Trucking Company. Today we sit down with Trumann Wildcat head coach Gunnar Cook. This pigskin preview is brought to you by Greenway Equipment of Marked Tree.
Welcome into the Hometown Sports Arkansas Football Preview by the Arkansas Sports Network. I'm Alex Gallion. Joined alongside me is the head football coach for the Trumann Wildcats, Coach Cook. Coach, appreciate you so much for taking the time out of your day to be a part of the ASN magazine. I want to go ahead and start off. Let's talk a little bit about last season. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so last season had a really good senior group that led us. We ended up with the season 5-5 in the regular season, lost in the first round of the playoffs to Warren. But we lost 3 games by 1 score or less. We were 3 plays away from being 8-2 in the regular season. So we lost a couple of close games. Luckily, still ended up in the playoffs. Kept our playoff streak alive. I think it put us at 9 years in a row. So we're trying to keep that going. But had a really good group. And last year was my first year as head coach here at Trumann, so that was a really good group to come into with. They did a lot of things the right way and helped build our culture, and we'll continue to build off that as we move forward.
You guys took some pretty good wins. It says here on Scorebook Live, you guys took a win over Magnolia. That was 27-0. A huge win over Newport and obviously Westside as well. And a pretty big win, though, over that Gosnell team. I think Gosnell had already had Cam Williams, and he was injured by the point. Now, was he or was he not injured?
He did play. He might have been a little banged up, but he did play. He scored one of their touchdowns that night. Ripped off a big run against us, which anytime he's on the field, that cat can go. But yes, Newport, Gosnell, both 2 really big wins for us that year.
Yeah, that's a massive win for you guys. As obviously you are the head coach of Trumann, so a lot of the spotlight, that either being negative or positive spotlight, it will go to you. I want to talk a little bit about some of your assistants, the guys that help you behind the scenes.
Yeah, so we got a great staff here at Trumann, including myself. We have 5 football coaches. We have Coach White. He's been here for 28 plus years. He played at Trumann, grew up in Trumann, and is still here today. We have Coach Gossett, who is also our head baseball coach. So he kind of gets around all the athletes, not just the football guys, and he does a great job with kids. He coaches our wide receivers and defensive backs. And then we have Coach Reynolds, who is our head junior high football coach and also coaches. He's the defense coordinator in senior high. And then we have Coach Anderson, who does our defensive line, and he helps out with the O-line as well.
Coach Reynolds came from Brooklyn, correct?
He did.
Yeah, he I believe he also was the defensive coordinator over. I believe he had left the year Coach Hinesley came in and became the head coach for Brooklyn, or he might have stayed that first year. But I know that he had came over to Trumann. How has he been doing over there?
He's been doing a great job. He has high energy about him. He does a great job leading our young men in junior high, and does a great job with the defensive side of the ball in senior high. He also helps with the offensive line as well.
He was my coach in junior high, so he's a great guy. I want to talk about some returning players. You said that you had a pretty good senior class last year. What is some of the returning players looking like this year?
So we only returned 1 offensive lineman,
and
his name is Devin Smithson. He plays right guard for us. And then we have 4 new guys up front. Luckily, 3 out of those 4 guys have a lot of playing time from last year, whether they came in during heavy packages or for whatever reason. So just getting those guys, to work together as a unit is going to be a big piece for us. Coming in at replacing a all-conference quarterback, we graduate Jake Osment, and replacing him will be Caden Donovan. He'll be a junior this year. We graduated our senior running back, Cade Hatton. He also played corner for us, and replacing him with senior Tony Postel. And another guy that gets a lot of carries for us is sophomore Braden Whitsett. So those 2 guys in the backfield, and of course the 4 new guys up front. We bring back Brandon Dome at outside receiver. He's one of our most athletic guys on our team, so we're super excited to see what he can do. He also plays free safety for us on defense.
What is do you think there's a surprise player this year? I know obviously summer practice has really kind of just started, but do you think there's anyone that is making more improvements in the weight room, and do you think that could actually shock some fans next year?
Yeah, two names that come to mind. One of them is a starting middle linebacker for us. He started last year as a sophomore. He'll be a junior this year. His name is Isaiah Carrillo. He's going to be a leader for us on the defensive side of the ball. He also rotates in at fullback for us. And the second guy that comes to mind is someone that really opened some eyes last year, but I expect him to take a huge step forward this year. And that's Gavin Cubitt. He was all conference for us last year, but he's got the potential to be an all-state kind of guy this year. He's made huge strides in the weight room. Colleges are starting to look at him and have interest in him, so we're excited to see what his development can be this year.
I want to go ahead and talk about kind of y'all's pre-schedule. Are y'all doing the scrimmage against Brooklyn?
Yes,
again?
we'll be at Brooklyn this year.
You guys will play the Bearcats for the scrimmage. I know last year you guys had lost by like 1 point. Was
Something
it
like that.
7-8? I think. So what is kind of some of y'all's week 1, week 2? What is y'all non-conference looking like?
So we scrimmage at Brooklyn, and then after that scrimmage game, we open up the season at home against Nettleton. Which is going to be a great challenge for us out of the gate. They'll be a good football team. Kind of gauge where we're at physically and fundamentally. And then our second game, we go to Walnut Ridge on the road, which is going to be another really good team this year. I know Coach Blake at Walnut Ridge, just talked to him recently. They're hoping to push for a conference championship this year. So 2 back-to-back games. That's going to be really tough for us out the gate to really see where we're at going into the conference play. And then our third and final non-conference game is Harrisburg. That's a cross-county rival for us. So here in Poinsett County, that's a big game for our guys. So we're excited about those 3 games.
How do you feel about conference coming up? I do believe is Southside moved down, Southside baseball. So and they were really good in 5A East. They were second in conference under Valley View last year. So how do you think conference could go this year? It's maybe just a little harder this year.
Yeah, our conference, we had Rivercrest last year. Great football team last year.
Yes.
They moved down to 3A. We pick up Southside in their place. So I tell people all the time that our conference didn't get any easier when we lost Rivercrest because we picked up Southside.
Yes.
We also lost Harrisburg. They went down to 3A, and we picked up Cave City. So Cave City is another hard-nosed football team that's going to run the ball, try to out-physical whoever they're playing. The rest of the conference, it's tough. We have Pocahontas, Blytheville, Highland, Gosnell, Westside, all those guys, they show up every week and play hard-nosed football. Highland brings 20-something starters back. They're going to be really good this year. Gosnell is always a tough opponent, and we got to go to Gosnell this year. So they're always really athletic and can make plays happen at any minute. And then Blytheville had a really good year last year. I know they're going to try to build off that as well. They got a few guys returning who are some good ball players. I believe they have a running back named Courtney Rogers who's really good, and they have him coming back this year. So
I think Blytheville's been having some head coach problems though.
I'm not sure what's going on over there.
I've just heard some things.
Yeah, I saw Coach Jet Howard at a camp the other week, week or 2 ago. So I'm not sure if he's still there or not. But Coach Howard had him playing hard. So if he's still the guy there right now, I know they'll continue to be a tough opponent for us.
Coach, we've asked every single coach so far that we've interviewed the same exact question. This season for the Trumann Wildcats will be successful if
our offensive line develops like we expect them to. Like I said, we lost 4 of our 5 guys up front. So anytime you have to replace that many guys up front, it's going to come down to what those guys can do. They have taken great strides over the spring football period. And then we hosted a pad camp last week, and they took a step forward, I felt like there. But then we had a pad camp this week. We went to Hoxie and had a pad camp. And those guys, you could just see the development and the growth from 1 week. They're just being coachable, and they're getting better every day fundamentally. The physicality's there, and if they continue to grow fundamentally, I think we have a shot at being pretty good. But it's going to come down to those 5 guys up front.
Do you think there's anything? What do you think might be the biggest change, if you can even answer this right now? The biggest change from this season from last season?
I think this year, like I said, we lost those 3 games by 1 score or less, or 1 play or whatever, and we're going to really try to just do a better job of finishing games this year, or finishing out close games in our favor. That just comes with guys being in those kind of situations. Last year we had a group that hadn't really been in a lot of situations where we needed to, win the game in the last minute. And the guys that we bring back this year, most of our starters this year will be juniors. So they were on that team last year. They experienced that. I'm hoping we can take those 3 losses this year and turn those kind of situations into wins and win those close games.
This has been Coach Cook from the Trumann Wildcats. Coach, again, I thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to be a part of this interview. Don't forget, if you want to check out every other team in the state of Arkansas and their head coach interviews, you can check it all right here on the Arkansas Sports Network and on Facebook at the Arkansas Sports Network, and like us on Instagram as well. I'm Alex Guy, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks again for joining us on the Arkansas Sports Network's Hometown Sports Football Preview. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Arkansas Sports Network on YouTube to catch more previews and all the latest updates on your favorite teams.